army is rising. An army is rising to preach the message. Our message is justice. An army is rising. An army is rising to preach the message. Our message is justice. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. An army is rising. The message, our message is justice. An army is rising. An army is rising to preach the message. Our message is justice. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Kenya, hey, Kenya, Kenya, hey, we will not be silent. Kenya, hey, Kenya, Kenya, hey, we will not be silent. Kenya, hey, Kenya, hey, Kenya, Kenya, hey, we will not be silent. Kenya, hey, Kenya, hey, Kenya, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Until a new Kenya is established, we will not be silent. Amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the church and the state. As you can see, it's a historic moment in our country, and also we believe within the course of generation, it will echo for many years. We have witnessed a people that has joined us, and as we said, it's about the Gen Z. It's about also a demo that we're going to be doing on election. And maybe I can give you a chance to sit down as we welcome you. Thank you. Now, the reason why I said it's a historic moment, it's because mid-2024, I think June, there was a shift, not only in Kenya, worldwide. We witnessed a generation that is called the Generation Z, people who believe in what we know as the right channels when it comes to governance, when it comes to politics, when it comes to leadership. These are people who are disruptors. These are people who believe in change in a positive way. And we are so happy to announce that it's not only on the streets that you get to hear about them. We are here together with them on the show. A round of applause to all of you for joining us. Yes, we're going to have an educative, an interactive, a constructive session. And by the way, you're going to have a chance to ask all those burning questions, to echo your frustration, things that you have wished, to bring on board. Because at the church and the state, we look at matters, politics, leadership, and governance in the lenses of the scripture. So you're going to have a chance to echo everything. And by the way, the reason why this is even much more greater, it's because we have a governance expert who not only have that background, but also he is a teacher of the word. So when we talk about the church and the state, he has both understanding. So I want us to again give a round of applause to one and only Ambassador Dr. John C.W. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
For joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, and I have my correspondent, that is Kuria. Say hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, and I have Collins.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's so lovely to have all of you here and come in this wonderful, wonderful occasion that we are about to take. So welcome and feel at place of beginning to make sure that Kenya is better again.
Yes, Kenya is better again. Maybe to start with, Doctor, you told us that the callings of God are without repentance. They are irrevocable. So we appreciate that you are here to speak both for the church and also for the government, or rather governance. And you have seen the shift and the wave, the disruption that has come when it comes to these young people, the Gen Z. Do you think they are overdoing it, or is it that, I don't know, they seem not to be heard? What's the issue?
It's a scriptural issue. It says, I will pour out my spirit on your sons and daughters. It has always been God's cry for as early as you are. You remember Jesus at 12 years was already in the temple. If you look at characters in the Bible, he began his ministry at 30. David began his ministry at such an age. So we have people, the disciples, so many people are crediting the fact that the younger you are, the much more better it is for God to be able to find you. Reason is because you don't have a lot of experience in terms of limiting the move of God. So we have been seeing God manifesting from a pulpit perspective. But also you need to understand that we had people like Martin Luther King. In fact, one of the things people did not know is that he came direct from the Baptist church. His father was a preacher of the word, and he was also a preacher of the word in that system. So when God comes to him in his late 20s, entering into his 30s, I'm trying to imagine how he's used to the pulpit. And at this particular time, God is calling him to bring a revival in the streets. And we all know, I'd like to ask the audience, if you don't mind, do we all know Martin Luther? Yes. What do you know Martin Luther for? What do we know Martin Luther for?
Yeah, you can take a mic and... answer.
Yes, my brother. What do you know Martin Luther? If you hear the word Martin Luther King, what comes to your mind?
Hello, everyone. Martin Luther, I know him as a
As a what? Revivalist.
Yeah, as a man of God.
God-fearing and governance. But the key element there is a revivalist.
Yeah.
So did that revival happen on the pulpit or in the streets? So the fact that there is revival happening in the streets, does that mean these young people are evil? Does that mean they don't know what they are doing? No, it's simply another move of God. And you know, one of the things with God is that God cannot be limited by any movement. God can decide to move through Cyrus, if you remember Cyrus, and he ended up making sure that the wall was rebuilt. God moved through Pharaoh, you know, and making sure that he received a dream. God moved through different parties in the Bible. And so God does not necessarily only move limited by Christianity. In fact, in Christianity, God's move is perfected, but it cannot be stopped. So God would prefer that his children are the frontiers of a new element of change. But even though his children are not ready, there will always be a Pharaoh, because God's will is supreme. So these young people are a movement, according to me, by God. And I know there are so many leaders in our nation that have demonized them. But according to me, I look at it as God's way of showing his supremacy beyond the four walls of the church, that his will also come to pass however he wants to do it, whenever he wants to do it, wherever he wants to do it.
Wow, that's profound. Now, I'm going to give to my correspondent, Collins, to get some questions. Why do you feel you're not heard? What is the biggest frustration that you have as young people when it comes to matters leadership and governance?
Wow, very wonderful question there. And as we walk around to see who's able to answer that, and to add on what you're saying, it's very much important that we get to understand the power of the young people, having that they contribute 75% of it. And in the economy of Kenya, actually, they contribute a lot of it. 53.4% of them are in employment. But the few of that, it is because they are in affirmative, we say, economic crisis. So today we just want to give the GNZ the opportunity to just answer that. If I can get one from here, maybe sir, you can just try and tell us your name and tell us about what you've just heard from the Miss Anne there. What is it that you understand in terms of what is a big issue with the GNZ of Kenya today? You can just stand up and speak to us.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
My name is Titus Mudaura, and I feel that the problem, they are not being listened. Some of them are learning, they have PhD and degrees, but there is not their position now. So they must speak out so that there could be a solution for them. Thank you.
Right. The issue of education, sir, is being illustrated there, that they feel like they're not listened because of lack of, the opportunity in terms of education. That brings a very important question, sir, that you're able to tackle, because we have like 1 million of them coming out of the university, going into the market area, and what they have studied, it's not in the market area. So it's one of the concerns that is making our young ones to, have a frustration there. I'm also going to get another to us concerning the same, maybe here as your name, and of course, what's the issue of the young generation, the GNC here in Kenya? Just stand up and tell us your name, and let's continue.
Okay, my name is Ivan, and I feel the reason as to why the problem we have is that we are not heard, and that despite the fact that we came out to the streets, the government did nothing about it. Some of our colleagues died, some of us lost family, friends, and our accomplices, but nothing was done about it. Nothing was done in terms of, we came out the first time because of the budget, the bill, finance bill, and still nothing was done about it. And this is a concerning issue to us, the Gen Zs. Thank you.
Right, I think Anne, we can take the two questions.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, sir, there have been issues
Right.
that have been raised, especially on education. And you see the parents, especially the leadership we have, mostly are baby boomers and that generation. They're like, no, you're lazy, start small, build until you are somewhere. And they're like, we have gone to school, you took us to the best of institution. Why is it that when I come out, there's no job for me? So that's a frustration. Maybe you can answer, what are some of the practicals measures that can be taken to help the young people solve the unemployment issue?
Well, I would like to first say that there are certain words that are used to illustrate the weight of things. Now, when you say the word education, scripturally speaking, is the same word as light, which is the same word as knowing. So to say a person is educated, you are simply saying a person's mind has received light, has received a knowing.
Yeah.
So it's every government's responsibility to make sure that there is enough light that shines into the minds of people. For that reason, they come out, I'm not saying all of them, but a bigger number. Education has proven to create more technological advances to a nation, putting the nation in a better position to be able to compete on a global point of view. And so one of the things personally for me, I would request, and especially for future incoming governments, we saw yesterday that there is a nation, Finland, among other nations, Denmark, Germany, nations that are known for producing quality educated young people. In the Finland structure of education, they do not have, for example, exams. So I was looking at their education model to find out what are the criteria they use to be able to advance people on a competitive platform, because Finland produces among the top students in the world. Yet they do not have necessarily, exams, sitting of exams, the way we do it in Africa, carrying so many books. Kids get to school at 9, they leave at 2. And I was looking at that education structure. And by the way, because I know we have one of our leaders here who has been in that, education model, I would also request that she be given a minute or so. Because she has been, teaching and training for, is it approximately 30 years and more? So she has a better view. But my point of view is this. Back in the day, we were very happy to be invited in campus. Those that had the opportunity to go to campus, back in early 2000, 2005, up to 2010, around there, when you were invited, for example, to the top campuses, name Nairobi University, Maseno, all those kind of universities, the people at your village almost threw a bash, a party for you. Because it was a big thing.
They did.
It was a big thing for you to go there. The education, the kind of things the campuses were teaching, and I'm not ignorant of the fact that if we broaden education, you have more people learning and stuff like that. But we have to be very careful. I feel like right now, if you look at most campuses, it's about how much money the schools can make over the quality leadership of those students. There are some certain syllabus in schools are not necessary. Right now you can find that there are some different types of teachings in campuses. When you really look at that from a futuristic point of view, it doesn't have anywhere to fit that child. You get? So someone else has a degree, but in what? Then if you look at what they have a degree in, it does not have a place. Like you rarely would find a job description looking for someone with such a degree. So the way I would tackle it is, one, we need to we need to create an education model that can be able to plant wisdom that is needed in the future. For example, let's assume, not even assume, the world is moving towards the AI. And I would request the Church of Jesus Christ, whether you say AI is a demon, you are told AI is a demon from hell. The demon, Satan, there is no demon that was not created by God. All demons, the Bible says Satan with his tail wiped a third. He didn't create a third. He only used his wisdom to put some people on his side. All things work together for good. We don't need to demonize things simply because we are not aware. And I feel the church always makes that mistake. Anytime something new comes up, we credit it to Satan. For example, the things we are doing now, church and state. Several people that are very religious would say, oh, you have left God, go back to the altar, go back to the pulpit. And then you sit and wonder, where does this thing have a place? My point of view is this. we will need to restructure back the education system. Number one, make sure that what people are graduating as has a place. I said this the last time. The government should come up yearly and say, according to our statistics, either private wing or government, these are the kind of likely opportunities that will be dealt with in the next 5 years. These are the job opportunities that we are looking at. Not just by saying we are creating opportunities for watu wa mjengo. What do you call that? People that are doing the hard labor jobs. Yes? Because now, what about the people with degrees? You can't just say we are building roads and all those people. I know the engineers that are also dealing with roads and stuff like that. But how many engineers as compared to people that are doing the hard labor? You get? So I think the government and should work with the private structure to find out how many jobs, what are the kind of jobs that are being dealt with in the future, so that by the time these young people are going to school, they are actually in line with something that is more of futuristic, rather than just coming out with a degree that might not necessarily, have a place in the future. I don't know if it's in my place, but we have, if you would allow maybe the elder to chip in and give us a view of how it looks like, even from your point of view, having that you have been in that education structure for approximately 30 years. How does it look for you?
Thank you very much, sir. Education is a major issue. Education is one of the things that a nation cannot do without, or even the whole world can do without, because we need illuminated minds. People who can think beyond, their space, their village, people who can see things from different perspectives and, national, international perspectives. And I think as Kenya, we really need to rethink and restructure and have a real paradigm shift in how we train our people. Because like Ambassador, you said, people are trained in so many different courses. A university is proud to say we have over 50 courses in this university, but at the end of it all, what is the result of it? I think we need to move in a manner that ensures our young people have real practical skills. Now, we have moved from 844, they call it is a paradigm shift. Yes, to some extent. However, if you really look at what is happening in the education sector right now, the new CBE, formerly CBC, competence-based curriculum, well, we are supposed to be developing competencies. However, I am not sure that that's exactly the end result at the end of it, because there are still lots of examinations which are not very practical based. They are more of theory. Now, for instance, when we look at the junior school, let me go to junior school. You find a child who is about 13 years old, who should be in grade 7, where they call it grade 7, the former standard 7. The shift from what they are learning in grade 6 to grade 7 just boggles the mind, because the people who are involved in coming up with the curriculum and the structures for this junior school have no connection with what that kind of a child is supposed to learn and what they're supposed to do practically. So they have put in too much theories into the books, and there's an expectation of an examination. The famous KCB, which is in grade 9. And you saw last year, people were up in arms and complaining that, oh, the exam was this. We are back to the exam system. We are just back to the exam system. I think we need a real paradigm shift. And like you're saying, sir, Finland, Sweden, Norway, those countries are very well developed in their education system. They make sure that the people education churns out actually have a space in their world. Because in Kenya we have so many millions of Gen Zs who have a lot of energy and a lot of strength, a lot of knowledge. They are innovators. They have a lot of creativity and imagination in them. But we have let them to just, do Mama Mboga and Mama Fua and, they're out in the construction sites. It's a pity. It's a pity that we are putting our bright brains in those kind of spaces, while we have a lot that we can do in manufacturing, in industry, and put them in spaces where they can shine and actually bring in their strength. So I believe we still have a long way to go. We need a real paradigm shift in education, because these are the people who, we were young too. We were also, the age of 20, 25. And we were seen as being rebellious by our parents, because I don't know, we were maybe ahead of them in terms of different things in a different way. The world is changing, We began with the agrarian revolution, industrial revolution, all these revolutions. Now we need to take up the technological era to a level where our young people can feel that they are actually needed. They are needed in the world, they are needed in our nation. And that is why we find them, coming up with the revolts, because they have energy and they don't know what to do with it because they have not been given a space. So I believe the young people have a place in this nation, but we have not guided them rightfully. We've also taken all the spaces so they have nowhere to establish themselves and showcase their skills. So yeah, we still have a long way to go, I believe. Thank you.
And maybe a question on that. I understand that that's a very valid and, deep explanation on what is lacking in our education system. But the question is, we are addressing the Gen Z. These are people who have learned through this system. So what's the future for them? Because they won't go back to, the system that is coming. So what will they do to ensure that they are employed, or rather they have income and they benefit from maybe what they study?
Embrace diverse ways of technology. For example, I was watching, I don't know what you call that gentleman. He's he's a black gentleman. When I say that, I mean in terms of skin color. I don't know what is his name. He sold his company for $900 million. Sorry. Yeah, $900 million. Yeah, $900. He doesn't talk. He only does I don't know what you call that young man. I don't know where he stays abroad. Yeah. You know that gentleman?
Yes.
He sold his company for $900 million. And I don't even think he's 30. And it's just social media.
And he doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk. I don't know if you know that young man. He just does.
Yeah.
Then he something like that. So you can imagine you have been talking all your life. So what changed with that person? Then I looked at people. I know someone that makes approximately 1.2 million from YouTube every month. We know people that make 5 million from YouTube every month. We know Instagram, people that are able to get a coin here and there. So what I'm trying to say is that jobs moved from white collar. As seasons and times keep changing, the reality of jobs and employment begins to shift. So what we would call at, or maybe even at her age, probably in the 70s, in the 80s, in the early 90s or so, what she would go to school to study, her point of view had everything to do with maybe employment. I'm assuming that. As we come into a generation right now, and this is why I'm requesting for our education structure to be rewired, as she's saying. We train our people to be employed. We don't train our people to employ. The concept of China of dealing with education has everything to do with them living to create jobs, not them living to look for jobs. And that's why you realize that most technologies are coming from China. Why? Because the education system of China trains up a child to become a solution giver. But the way we are, especially here in Kenya, our education trains us to become a problem again to someone. So after all those degrees, having studied in lower grade, upper grade, then you come to campus, your mom and your dad sell property, you finally there, you've done a course for 4 years, you've done a course for 5 years, carried books all your life, then you do an attachment, I think for how many months, then after that you are now back to ground zero. You start looking for a job for everyone. It becomes very degrading for those people, because having spent all that time, spent all that energy. Do you have people here in campus? Are you understanding what I'm saying? You having spent all that time, having spent all that energy, but you still cannot grasp what you need to do with your degree. So it becomes very difficult and very annoying. And that's why you see some of these people, if you see the thieves that are being killed, they have degrees now, not like the thieves of before. The people being arrested, they have degrees now. The people drinking and doing such kind of things, they have degrees now. Why? Because they cannot channel their energy towards a specific place that can be able to generate income for them. So I would request the young people to stop looking at the outcome of their degree as employment, but rather to think about the outcome of their degree should be what? Creativity. Use social media, use any platform that has been given to you right now, and see it as a money-making machine in a positive way. Do you understand? Let me finish by saying this. So the other day I didn't know, I was watching something online, and I saw this lady on, was it TikTok? I used to call it TokTik. I didn't, for a very long time. TikTok, TikMok, I didn't understand. So I saw how that lady, there's a caption there, there's a link there, I don't know, like a button where you press, and TikTok is able to tell you, if you want more views, these are the kind of things to do. So I just checked it last week. I didn't know it exists. And I said I was going to try next week. And then if the algorithm tells you that people want to hear about education, so that day you use that opportunity to do something positive concerning education. Do you understand? You don't just post you dancing every time. We don't want to see you dancing. How is your dancing helping our society? So those are the kind of things. So, and then I realized that lady says every time she does that, she's able to make more money. But you and me, we're just using TikTok to show we woke up, so I woke up late. How does that help us? But to someone else is using TikTok as a means of feeding them. Is it true? There are families surviving out of TikTok. There are, parents whose rent are paid out of TikTok. So we need to embrace those kind of avenues that can be able to transform. We don't just think about lawyer. As we keep going, I'm even assuming that AI is going to phase out most teachers. I have a friend who's approximately 80. So he got this problem in his body, and then he went to the doctor. Then when he went to the doctor, he gave me this story. It was amazing. He went to the doctor. Then he told the doctor the condition, and the doctor subscribed the medicine. Because that gentleman at his 80s, he already has ChatGPT. He told me his best friend is ChatGPT. Why? Because ChatGPT cannot lie to him in that view. So when the doctor subscribed the medicine, he went, as the doctor is talking, he's here saying, ChatGPT, the doctor has told me to take this medicine. Do you know, ChatGPT told him, don't take that medicine. It will give you that sickness. And instead, ChatGPT recommended a drug, and when he took that drug, can I tell you today, he is free. He no longer takes that medicine. So, a phase of doctorate, some doctors will be phased out in the future. Why? Because we are not futuristic in our approach. Some engineers will be phased out. I saw a system, a machine, I don't know if you saw it, is it in Germany, that is able to build a home in hours. It engineers a home. It takes blocks, sets those blocks in hours. Then you imagine you are, what are they called, the mason? The masons. Yeah. He is stealing from you. So imagine if that machine comes to Kenya. You know what we'll do as Africa? We'll ban the machine. Why? Because we are not futuristic. We train our people to do the same things that were done in 1990. So we cannot embrace change. We'll fight change, even though when the change was telling us, change before I change you. It's high time to use what we have to look at the future, because the future is bright. The future is not the past.
Wow. Can we clap for our expert here? Thank you for elaborating. Actually, before I go to Kuria, I would love him to take some reviews from that end. To answer, I want you to answer the question I've been asked on the issue of them going to the streets, or the young people going to the streets. coming up with real issues that they need them addressed by the government, but the justice is not served yet. You know, in that time, you see like the older generation, it's like they don't want to be held accountable. They just, when the leaders speak, you listen, you follow. These young people know. You have educated us. We know what is right for us. This is A, B, C, D. Why do you think they have not been heard? And I want you to handle it the two way. The issue with the people that are supposed to respond, and if there was an issue with how those queries came into place.
Well, yes. One, I said this before on our previous broadcast. Unfortunately, in Africa, power must be taken. It's not given. So you find someone like, let me not mention his name. Well, let me just say it. Let it go the way it's going. You know Kotu, Mr. Atwoli. I'm not saying if you are old, you shouldn't work. I'm just saying, if we keep on positioning ourselves at specific positions, we have Mr. Atwoli. He has been a Kotu for how many years? Are you telling me no one has ever risen that can assist him? Let me use a kind word, that can assist him. You imagine the Ugandan president, he has decided to choose himself. Imagine how many years. Has there never risen a president a person that, has he never mentored anyone? And that's why I've said the problem. Look at Moi. Moi sat in power until Moi wanted to die in power. There's a president in Cameroon. He actually came again. Do you know his daughter opposed him? His own daughter. Your own daughter is tired. Dad, rest, bro. So the problem of Africa is that we suffer from, we are not able to know when to release the mantle. So even though a young person comes out to the street, and I need to say this, governments all over the world respect noise. So by the time a person is making noise, he has not first of all been heard. The streets are not the first option. But I can guarantee you, no one loves going to the street. Let me tell you, in 2020, is it 2024 or 2025? 2024, I was in the streets, in case you are not aware. Yes, Mimi, Nilikimbia. I was in the streets coming from the people that were going to honor the Sabasaba Day, all those. I was here.
2025.
It was believe me, when you are at home, you don't really understand what is happening. I almost died. It was a Haiti. When I was coming from bypass to join Thika Road, I found the goons there. Thank God one of them said, I lowered the window. They were hitting the cars. Thank God I had a car that belonged to someone. The guy came and looked at me and he says, CW tunakuja unatuteteanga. Ungepita. And I ended up, they were hanging on this side and on that side. And then I was asking them in that whole scenario, why are you doing this? He says, this is so that you can hear us. We will burn houses, burn buildings. It's not the best way to do things. Nepal ended up doing what it did, overthrowing the president. By the way, do you know Nepal overthrew the president and put their own? They took someone and said, you come here. We enthrone you. You know, bringing back the Article 1 of the Constitution, which I see you have here. Yeah. Article 1 of the Constitution pointing that all sovereign power belongs to young people. Can you say it? All sovereign power belongs to the people. Start again. Say, all sovereign power, belongs to me.
Belongs to me.
And I have a right, to exercise it, democratically or willfully. That's the Constitution. So by the time someone comes out to air her grievances like her, sister, how old are you? Can we see her? How old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
Can you imagine a 21-year-old is already becoming hopeless, saying, you don't hear us. Why would a 21-year-old have that experience that people are not listening? Probably the concept has started back at home, family failures, the dad, the mom, the uncles, the aunties, the brothers, the sisters. So by the time now she's coming to the nation, it's boiling out nicely. And by the way, I sat with these people in the streets. I remember they were telling me, Bishop, unlike you, we came to die. We have no land, we have no children to take care of, we have nothing. So me coming there, and there is nothing as bad as fighting someone that has nothing to lose. Most of these young people, apart from education, they have nothing to lose. So that war is a very dangerous war. And like a rich person, he'll think about his car, think about a parent who think about his children. These kids are coming out saying, they would rather die in this society. So if they will not be heard, if any nation, you see any strike, of course there are those strikes that are not necessary, but if you see people striking on different nations, they are trying to say, please listen to us. And if governments do a better job of listening, in Kenya, you know the kind of strikes that you are going to expect. It has to be around doctors. It has to be around lecturers. Is it true? The day before yesterday, the price of fuel hiked. Then all of a sudden, breaking news yesterday during Citizen TV, it came down with 10 bob. And the other one came down with what? And then you have this person trying to tell them that there are subsidies, remove the 7 shilling, fuel levy. They're trying to tell you this. So all these kind of things accumulate to that reality. If we have leaders that literally listen, 1, 2, leaders, when it's your time to live, live honorably. Live honorably. Nelson Mandela did 1 term. That sounds funny in Kenya. You all know what I mean. Yeah, Nelson Mandela. That name has been so abused. Yeah. We used it for school. Sindio, it's, I'm on my fast. But that name now is so political that you feel as if you have made a political statement. But yet it's true. Nelson Mandela only did leadership for that one. He did it for that 1 term. And then he went home. But guess what Nelson Mandela did? He became a global father. When you leave the scene when you need to, a new scene is created for you eternally. So right now, Nelson Mandela is celebrated. Did Obama come for his funeral, I think? Yeah, we had leaders in America that came for his funeral. Why? How did he do it? He was in Africa. So you don't need to leave Africa to become effective. You need to bring effectiveness where you are. Let's stop looking for greener pastures and make it green where we are.
Well, thank you so much. Over to you, Korea.
And my generation, this generation usually calls me chief. And Collins, pardon me, I'm not like a journalist like you. I'm a political being by nature. Gen Z power. Hey, Gen Z's. Gen Z power. Gen Z wisdom. Gen Z viva. This was an expression to show that we are very, very, very happy that we are stepping in the tables of decision making. Earlier on, our parents and other generations ahead of them were used as puppets when it came to political matters. And I would like to air out the question from this end. My brother, maybe you can start by your name and phrase your question.
Okay, I go by the name Vincent. And my question comes like, so Bishop, we like us to tell us, like we Christians who have been born again, we want to be leaders. Is there a specific roadmap that we can use to get into politics without losing our integrity? That's my question.
Do we have another question from this end? Yeah, thank you so much, Anne.
All right. Sir.
Should I answer that?
Yes, please.
Okay, yes. Brother that asked that question, how old are you? 18. Wow. Your view is becoming, at 18, if you are thinking that way. And then now that young man gets to 24 with such brain, why won't he steal if you don't give him an opportunity? Sure. By the way, before I answer, did anyone see that gentleman that was graduating and he was asked, if you, after graduation, if you don't get a job, before the person asking finished the statement, he says, I will steal. I will, as a minon nyonga. You know, like for purposes of people nationally, kunyonga means what?
To
Get on. What's kunyonga?
To hang, like to choke.
Where you just find nyonga in Kenya. Like you are ngeted, like you are choked with the hand. If you just come to Africa, you will understand what it means. And the person was saying, and you can imagine his frustration. And he was saying, how can I study all that long and I'm not able to be effective in my society? So, my brother, the answer to that question is very simple. The Bible says whatever you do it as unto the Lord. First of all, before we even answer that, the church needs to walk out of religion. A way of doing things without involving God. That's my mind, what I call religion. We have this mentality whereby the match we should create in the body of Christ is usher, the normal things, worship team, you get. Yet you can also be an usher that is educated. You can be an usher on Sunday and a member of parliament on Monday. You can be in the worship team and the president on Monday. You can be, the deacon and the MCA on Monday. There is nothing wrong with that. Politics has been so demonized that brother at 18 is asking, we want to be leaders, but how do we do it without what? That means what he has seen is so demonic that he fears if I go there, I will lose my... But that's not the essence of leadership. The people that have been given an opportunity to illustrate leadership, they should have done it in such a way that he doesn't need to ask that question at 18. Why? Because the politics he has seen is demonic. Corruption, bad governance, abductions. You mention anything you can imagine. So if he thinks at 18 he wants to be a member of parliament, he thinks about salvation. He knows that going there, I'm going to lose salvation. Why? Because the kind of mad that has been publicized on that platform. You see members of parliament beating each other. I think you have seen it in Kenya. Yeah. The other day I was watching a past clip of Honorable Babu Owino and Honorable Jaguar. It's called Jaguar, right? I think the Jaguar has an ID name, but you all know Jaguar. And I was watching that fight. I think it was Jaguar previously. Now alikuwa ameshikana ngeta kabisa, and they're in parliament. They are fighting literally in parliament. Now that person is thinking, imagine him watching, and then he now goes to parliament. Is parliament a place of fighting? Don't we have a speaker that is able to cushion anytime there is heat, a parliamentary heat in terms of arguments and such kind of things? So that young man is thinking, I want to keep my salvation, but I also want to be a leader. So the question is asking, what can we do? I've answered him by telling him, whatever you do, the grounds of it is you do it as unto the Lord. That's the only answer I can give him. In terms of, if you're going to become a leader, then you are given an opportunity to impeach someone. Did you see the other impeachment? You saw how much money was trading. So it was not a generic, it was not an organic, it was very generic. The impeachment that happened was very generic. Why? Anything that involves handouts to implement, it is not organic. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, for example, the Gen Z movement that happened and Millennial movement in 2024, it was organic. The Chunga Kadi initiative that now leaders are trying to demonize and try to make it look, it is organic. Why? We went to Kitale, brother, you that is asking a question, were you in Kitale? Yes, moderator. You were in Kitale.
Yes.
Explain to us how the feel was in Kitale. What were the numbers, and if really you can give all those people money to come out and vote. How did it look like in Kitale?
It was very organic, and people came from different corners, and they came up in very, very huge numbers, innumerable. We ourselves were the organizers, and we were not expecting those numbers. But afterwards, the leaders, after hearing that the mobilization and the turnout, and it was not done through them, they sent goons to disperse the people.
And this is the reason why 31st December, I stepped down from pulpit. I did not say ministry. I just used it. Ministry has many. Ministry is like, your palm. Is your palm made up of one finger? So there are very many ways to manifest ministry. Pulpit is just among them. You understand? Pulpit is among those ways. When I looked at the problem, so that that young man can have a way of doing active leadership and active politics without the demonization in it, I had to come out and step into that field so that we show it's possible to do leadership without corruption. If a member of parliament is paid $1 million, be comfortable with $1 million. Do the kind of job you need to do, Mr. President. If you're paid, let's say your salary, I think, is around 1.6 million. Take that 1.6 million and do the job you're supposed to do for the people. Now, if leaders like Christian leaders do not come into these political spaces, that young man will settle for an usher as his only way to manifest God. Did I say being an usher is bad? No. I'm saying that you can be an usher and also a chief of staff. That you can be worshiping God like David, laying flat, and you are the king of the nation. So if we bring believers into these spaces and show the light in darkness, darkness will not be able to comprehend it. But if we believers expect light, and we are not going as the light, remember, we are the light. We are expecting other people to do it, yet the calling to manifest light is up to us. We will keep on having young people like that want to be leaders but do not know how to be it. And that's why we must come out, as many of us as possible. The church must release young people to go into leadership positions. The church must allow young people to get the card, the electoral, the voter's card. I have not seen the church telling the people go. When you tell the church that, they're like, no, hizo ni vitu za dunia. The work of the church is to preach the gospel. What is the gospel? The gospel means good news. It is good news for a nation to experience a corruption-free zone. It is good news for a nation to be corruption-free. It is good news for a nation to have people that don't die. It is out of, bad politics and such kind of things. It is good thing for a nation to experience good education system. It is good thing for a nation to experience health systems working. Things like SHA, things like all those things. It is good. So when you have such good news happening, it's a way of Jesus healing the sick, either through laying of hands or medicine. But if you have people going to get medical facilities in hospitals, and then when they are about to pay, it's working. But when it's the SHA system paying for them, it's not working. I don't know if you're understanding. When you're about to put money into the SHA system, it's working. And then let's assume there are portions of it that are working. I know there are portions that are working. I said this before. What is leadership then? Look for where SHA is not working. Then go there physically and find out why is SHA not working. But it's not standing in the car, the opposition leader is answering the leader of the nation. Wanasema SHA ifanyi. They are saying SHA is not working. Where is SHA not working? And how can we make SHA to do what? To work. It's very paramount that my brother understands it, that there are leaders that are coming. You don't need to be corrupt, but you also don't need to fear leadership as a believer.
Yeah, maybe a question on that. We have the greatest challenge, especially in our era, because we have three arms of government. We have the executive, we have judiciary, we have legislature. But as it is today, the parliament has become an extension of executive. So it's not free, it cannot make decision. So what is the issue, or rather the danger, if you tell maybe the young people, go to those positions, and maybe the head is not for that idea. So you end up, as much as you have good morals, we have witnessed many that are turned against simply because they are saying this is the right thing to do. So where does the balance come from? And actually, you're going to answer that after a short break. We are going to take a short break. Do not touch the dial. And actually, after this again, we said the church and the state, it's not just a place to air problems. We also come with solution. We are going to have Chunga Kadi electoral voters system that we are going to have the expert, projecting, and the members here are going to interact with it. But for now, let us go for a short break. Do not touch the dial. This is the church and the state.
Zulomon Group of Schools, where every child is inspired to dream, challenged to grow, and equipped to succeed. Nestled in the heart of Keno, Murang'a, Zulomon Group of School is more than just a learning institution. It is a home of excellent character and purpose, from daycare and creche to PP1 and PP2, grade 1 to grade 6 and junior secondary. We provide a complete and nurturing academic journey tailored to the need of today's young learners. At Zulomon, we believe every child carries unique potential, and that is why our classrooms are designed to encourage curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking. Our teachers are passionate, highly trained, and dedicated to creating a warm, supportive environment where learners feel confident and valued. We combine strong academic with hands-on learning, digital skills, arts, sports, and spiritual development, helping children to become well-rounded, responsible, and future-ready. We don't just teach, we mentor, guide, and inspire. Our facilities are safe, spacious, and child-friendly, with playground, modern learning materials, and a culture that promotes discipline, respect, and teamwork. Parents trust us because we partner with them, ensuring every learner receives personalized attention, holistic support, and measurable progress. At Zulomon, education is not just about passing exams, it's about preparing children to excel in life, lead with confidence, and make a positive impact in the world. Enroll your child today and join a community where excellence is celebrated, talents are nurtured, and dreams are made possible. Zulomon Group of Schools, educating hearts, inspiring minds, and shaping tomorrow's leader today. Admissions ongoing. Visit us in Keno, Murang'a. For more information, call us on +254 117 111 999 or visit us www.zulomon.ac.ke. Zulomon Group of Schools, for God, for generations.
this is the church and the state. And as you can see, we have a number of patriots that are really in to fight and to ensure that this nation is just as it was intended from the beginning. So before we went for a short break, we were having, I think maybe I can give you 2 seconds to fly. I see people need to, yeah. Thank you. Yes, thank you now. So before we went for a short break, you were talking about people, especially the church, going into the system, because as you have always mentioned, we are the light to the world, not the light to the light. So the question was, how are we able to be practical with such a change? Because we know that the parliament, maybe if you're there, or the judiciary, it's like it's not independent as it ought to be. So what are measures, practical measures for that?
This whole issue of independent is affected from the choice of the political party. So you find that there are people that, well, you cannot, within a political party, and I understand how political parties act. I think the ORPP, down that way, these political parties are, registered there, the whole process, and, coming down that way. So by the time a person joins a political party, there are different positions. There is the SG, there are chairman, depending on what the party, constitution looks like. But the highest form, the highest office in a political party is the PL, which is the party leader. So the party leader tends to carry the day as far as power shift is concerned. And then that's why you saw when Honorable, the late Raila Amolo Odinga passed on, the whole fight was not for SG, even though the SG, Secretary General opportunities are there and they are fought for, it was to enthrone a party leader. Because the party leader is more or less the ruling factor, the face of the party and stuff like that. So within that political structure, there are do's or don'ts. So you find that there is a level of committedness that one must be willing to express in order for him to stay married to that political party. So even though you have an independent way of thinking, the sellout structure there will still generate at the end of the day. That you find that you have an independent mind. For example, me as John CW, in any assumption, I am in a political party, in any assumption. And then personally, me as a politician, this is my point of view. But my political party has a different point of view. So you find that, let's take a case study like the UDA party, that is the president's party. There was, during the impeachment, there were people that had different types of view. But because you cannot sell that agenda publicly, it will look as if you have gone against your party. And I hope part of the structures in a party is that they are able to discipline you. The party can revoke your party nomination certificate. There are several things that can happen within the party structure. So as rooted as, dealing with this thing from the root, just by beginning from the political party, you are able to see that there is a lot of prostitution. What I call political prostitution, whereby you want to do this, but the party wants you to do this. So you end up sleeping with the party ideology in order for you to be able to survive within that network. So I've already dealt with it from a political party point of view. Coming up now, you are within the arm of government, which is parliament, which is among the 3 arms of government. Which parliament is which arm of government? Legislature. Yeah. Their work is to legislate. You need to understand, and especially young people, it's not being young that will make you a better leader. Young people, are you understanding? Because so many young people right now, they want to be MPs, they want to be MCAs, and most of them, when I ask them a very simple question, what's the meaning of the word GDP? Don't even say what Kenya's GDP is. The meaning of the word G, the letter G, the letter D, the letter P. You realize that many of them don't even know, which is gross domestic production. Then you now come to GCP, which is gross county production. What does the county produce on an annual how much money does it produce on an annual basis? What's the GDP of Kenya? What's the GDP of this? You need to understand all those things. So you have so many young people that are coming on board using age as a ruling factor, but no wisdom to run that institution. So coming back and saying that you're a member of parliament. Your work is what? You say the arm of government is what? To legislate. Yeah. What is to legislate? What is the work of a member of parliament? Because we saw the other day when the member of parliament came into crisis, a whole member of parliament stood and says, this president wanted, we passed it for him. Can you imagine? This president wanted this, we passed it for him. I don't know if the media can get that clip and play it. This president wanted this, we passed it for him. Then I wondered, when was the last time you were called to pass things for the president? Of course, I understand that the ruling party rules in view of the fact that they want a majority leaders so that they can be able to, but you see, at the end of it all, the primary goal of a member of parliament, the primary agenda of a member of parliament is not the party, or rather the president. The party, the member of parliament's work is to represent the people that elected him. And at that particular point of time, the people are who? The member of parliament deals with a constituency. Yeah. So before your president tells you, we want to do ABCD, how does it sit with your constituency? You are answerable to your constituency more than you are answerable to your party. But because of already the idolization, the party idolization up here, it makes the work, the job description of a senator, the job description of a member of parliament so irrelevant that they are not seen to be working. Do you know they are member of parliament from the time they were elected? They have brought no motion. They have brought no bill on the table of parliament. They do not speak. And if you want to push me, I can mention names. I was looking at them the other day. They have never spoken in parliament. But you see them running around with money on the table. You see them running around with new cars, because to them their job is a member of parliament should drive. Let me ask you a question. What business does a member of parliament, and because many people don't like the truth, they fight it. What business does a member of parliament have driving a 50 million shilling car? Where did you get 50 million? Me, I think the government should come up with structures whereby a member of parliament cannot do deals with government. Because this is why you find that their jobs gazetted, but they will never reach the normal mwananchi. They just gazette them for purposes of what? PR, to show that it went through the normal process of gazettement and stuff. But that job, that tender has already been given to a specific person. And you find that it is this member of parliament that politicized this whole structure. They want amount of money that, they know that if housing project, it will cost this amount of money goes to me. So they come back, like now the oil issue. You had the whole conversation that has been speaking. I've been looking at this oil issue from way back. Before the government came up with the G2G mode of, there was another system that was in place. You know the system? That was operating before the G2G, which happened to be from the private sector. It's not that it's a problem, because again, the people are saying, they think because we are pastors, we don't know what you are saying. Oh, pastors, stick to church. But you see, we understand the whole G2G from the concept of balancing the shilling and all that. But you can decide to balance the shilling using the G2G approach, but yet that shilling is not even available in the hands, in the pockets of people for it to even be balanced. So you say, if we do a G2G transaction, the shilling will not lose value as opposed to the dollar and stuff like that. But again, if you look at it from that point of view, how many people are really able to even afford that shilling you're talking about? So there are so many structures in view of that are idolized, and we lose the whole need of people knowing that a member of parliament is there to serve the people, a senator is there to serve this, the judiciary is there to serve this. You have people in the judiciary that are paid. Right now, if you have money, I can guarantee you can almost pass with any issue. So the judiciary loses touch, because even most of the judiciary people, they are under the pockets of leaders. So you will not get justice in the judiciary, you will not get justice in parliament, neither will you get justice in what? The three arms of government, executive, judiciary, and legislature. So then where do you go? So you have a lot of people that are idolizing political parties. By the time you even come to parliament, your political party has already given you a stand. So your parliamentary point of view and your parliamentary roles are irrelevant, because you're already a slave of your political party. We will need to find places whereby the political party has its place to play. And if possible, people should go independent. But again, we had a young guy from politician, was it Meru or Embu? I don't know where he went to in the days of Uhuru. What was the name of that? He used to go with a motorcycle, not motorbike.
Bicycle.
Bicycle, yeah, motorcycle, bicycle.
Yeah.
And he was moving from here to here, and the people trusted him. We had another one, and a young lady, I don't know, from Rift Valley or something.
Yeah.
People trusted them. But as they enter, even though you are independent, you are still swallowed. Back to the issue of morals.
Well, now I want us to go to the future. You mentioned something about AI and what we ought to be focusing at as a generation. And the most frustrating, actually, and disappointing thing, especially when you come to Kenya, is that there is insecurity. You see, the government feel we need to give these seats to people that we have tested over time, people we trust. So a docket like IT has a person who is over 60 years. Things that...
Mr. Kabogo.
Yeah. So it's so unfortunate if you look at the scope of the country. And I know it just goes around the world. It's not just in Kenya. What should the government do to ensure that we are not living in the past? Because the conversation is usually, we fought for independence. You know, they are always focusing on the future when giving people these dockets.
Right.
What should the government do to ensure that we are living for the future and not the past?
I'm only saying this as an illustration, not in any way. Let's assume I'm the president of Kenya. I would balance my government. 50% of that government should be wisdom. And sometimes wisdom comes with age.
Sure.
Then 50% of my government should be strength. To the old people is wisdom, which is counsel, and to the young people is strength. Old people cannot have the strength to do it. And then most of the time, young people, we don't have the wisdom to do it. I would balance it. I would take specific dockets and say, let's assume this docket, the CS is an old person because of experience. But again, at the same time, not just old, you have credentials and integrity. The PS of that particular thing is less than 30 years. So that this first, in any assumption you're going for 10 years, you agree. First 5 years is for you to train this one that doesn't know. Because the second 5 years, you are leaving office. So you only have 5 years with me. The second 5 years, this person that is young will step out in that role and also become that person. You imagine the kind of people we can raise. We need to embrace young people and what they can do. In any assumption, I would think about leadership in that way. So you set out specific dockets. For example, IT. I have no business. I'm sorry to the old people that are 50 years and above. I'm not saying when you are 50, you are not productive. They are here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for purposes of balance, just like you say gender equality, there's something I would say age equality. There are dockets within the governmental structure that have no business having old people. Let me give an example, like IT. If you have a young person, I'm trying to imagine a young minister that's really not corrupt, that's thinking about working for the people. A young person will be more effective there, even both from the CS and the PS. That is not even a seat you negotiate. Seats like arts, what do you call it? It has like three things: arts, sports, and culture. What business do you have putting someone that has no knowledge of playing football or playing tennis? For God's sake, play something. Play cards and just play cards, you know. Or you want a club? That's how we play something, man. Play a cassette. Just go and even press the play button. Just let's know you played something. But you find people that are being put in places. I saw, I think, the Nyeri governor, and how accurate I am, Kirinyaga. Is it what's her name? Is it a lady? The lady in Kirinyaga. What's her name? Anne Waigoro. I saw that the Nyeri governor is saying that the Nyeri governor is running for senator. You old people, zeekeni na mkubali. Accept you are old. Imagine that person has served governor for 10 years, for example. And then he now says, I want you to send me to Senate. Why are we sending you to Senate? We are sending you home. Go home and rest. Let another young person take over this mantle and try. Old people, we have seen what you have done at your old age, but you have not seen, what we can do at our young age. Allow us an opportunity. Try us. Because we cannot try you anymore. We have tried you for decades. You have done the same thing. Kenya is run by KANU. All these people now are KANU, in case you are not aware. Opposition is KANU, and government is KANU. People like Oparanya, rest, brother. Rest. Let's not even call you brother. Elder, 24 elders, rest. Sometimes rest. Some of these things we are fighting for. No wonder they are getting sick. Sometimes even God has to kill some people. Because he knows as long as you are alive, you are fighting for a position. What did Nelson Mandela do in 5 years that made him an icon forever? What is that thing that you cannot do in 10 years that now you have done in 10 years, now we need to send you to Senate? Because why? In Kenya, if you want to keep things, get power. So they are not getting power to really focus on you. They are getting power to keep what they have. So that, you see Tuju, Raphael Tuju, you know his property, is it 2 billion? Is being taken. We also, what is happening with his property?
Because he is out of power.
He is out of power. So he doesn't have the strings to pull in order for him to be able to do. So what these people do, because of the corruption, and you listen to me, our president is coming in Kenya. You will return everything you stole. You mark our words. There will be no mercy. Oh, what if they died? Your children are alive. We are coming. Your children will bring back everything that belongs to Kenya. We are tired. We are tired of people stealing money for education and buying wigs for their wives. We are tired of people stealing money for health. We saw the other day that there are places where the SHA is working. Can you imagine a place in Mandera where places receiving 8 million, 37 million, and Kenyatta National Hospital, a referral hospital, they don't have such budget. How did that hospital in Wajir get a budget of that amount of money? But when you ask these questions, again to you young people, you forgot that good leadership is what you are fighting for. So you are the people being bought. Hata nyi muende. You are some other funny people. You are given 500, you go there and shout and wear shirts. So we are no longer even knowing where we are going. We are the most divided people. We are the people that don't even know where we are going, yet we want to go somewhere. It is easy for you to play a tribal card among us now. It is easy, this Chunga Kadi campaign initiative. We are now the people trying to demonize it. Though that so-and-so gave 20 million, where did you see the 20 million? We need to beat you. Because you are spoiling things that are trying to be effective in changing the society. There are dockets that should not be given to old people. And let's just be clear. I think we have old people here. Even you relate with what we are saying. Let's have transition leadership, whereby the young person has an opportunity to also experience. Lastly, this mentality of saying we need 14 years experience. You will only get people with 20 years experience. Where will a young person, a Gen Z, get 14 years experience? Companies need to open doors to train young people to get the experience. But you can't say we are a company looking for 34-year experience. Employ your dad. So where are these young people going? They just left campus. They left, school. They are energetic. Try them. Risk with them. Because at least they have more time to live. But you are risking with an 85-year-old person. Surely, if we go for his 15 years. But this is a 20-year-old person that you can risk your future with. And you know that the next 70 years of your company is secured. Where would you rather put your risk? We need to go back to identify the kind of things that young people should do. And to you young people, be competitive. Stop being hooligans. There is a time for the streets and there is a time for the table. When it's a time to be on the table, discuss things that are life transforming. Stop talking about being naked. You can almost know. By the way, I hope you know TikTok. The African algorithm of TikTok is different from China. I hope you know. Just go study it. The Chinese algorithm of TikTok is educational. The African algorithm of TikTok is sex. You can't pass 2-3 videos without encountering a naked girl. You can't pass through 2 or 3 videos without encountering a drunk boy. Why? Because it's a thing that is positioned in your mind. I don't know if you have heard what young people now are singing. Ndakugonga, alafu nikupige, nikikupiga, nikuweke What? And that kid is 12 years, but that's rap. And then when the kid finishes, people are saying, hey, nilikata maji, nikawakata. Eh? That's a 11-year-old kid. I don't know if you're seeing them online. Now imagine that kid knowing that he can, I took a knife and I looked at my enemy and imagine that kid is singing that. We will need to arrest your mom. We arrest your parents. Why would that kid be singing that? And these things are given slowly by slowly. They become a generational point of view. Why? And now that kid, the person that is sitting on his position, is 70 and is a CS. What is this thing that we cannot be able to do? We young people. Young people, can I ask you, are you competitive? Yes. Are you learned? Yes. Are you educated? Yes. Can you do these jobs? Yes. Apart from building rocks, houses, can you also engineer houses? Yes. That's what my point of view is.
Wow, I see the audience, you're cheered up. I'm going to give over to you, Collins, to take some questions from the audience and reaction on what Ambassador was saying.
Well, thank you very much. And that was a very well elaborated sentiments over there. And really thank you so much, Daktari, for that, sentiments to our young ones. There are so many questions here, and I tell you, they are fired up today. Mm-hmm. Everybody's shooting up their hands. But let me start with my brother here. You had a burning issue concerning what the topic of today. Tell us your name and also what is your concern, depending on the question of and the topic of today.
Thank you so much. My name is Samuel Mongi. My concern was about the culture of politics in Kenya, especially the voters themselves. In Kenya, it's the only country where someone can steal some money in a certain sector. Then this person is famous all of a sudden, and we are voting him as a governor of a certain area. You all know that case. So how do we change the mindset of Kenyan voters? How do we change this culture of politics that is bringing up bad leaders? Because we can talk about bad leaders, but what about these citizens? These citizens that are bringing these bad leaders? Because we also need to fix that. Because these people cannot see a good leader if they continue with this mind. Please talk about that, sir.
Well, that's very much important, sir. Question about integrity, both the citizen and also the leaders, very much important. My brother here had a question, so I saw your hands up. So tell us, what is this that you...
Good afternoon. My name is Ezra, a student of KCA University with a specialization in entrepreneurship. My question is in regards to accountability. I don't want to go to the streets for the rest of my life. So how can we automate accountability? How can we ensure that the leaders that we put in power, we can hold them accountable without necessarily having me to go out with my towel and water, a bottle of water, because there will be tear gas? Yes, thank you. That's my question.
Thank you very much, sir. That's very much important. And let me take one more here as we answer, as our Daktari gets to answer the two. I saw a hand here, yes, from this gentleman, and then I need to balance because a lot of gentlemen here, they have burning issues. What's your name and tell us your question, please?
My name is Titus Moura. I'm a civil engineer. My question is about how will we protect the young people who are very vocal and the young people who come with very influential narratives, and how will we protect them from getting put in the pockets of corrupt leaders? Yeah, that's my question.
Again, the question of integrity and accountability. There's a lady here. I saw her hands up. So let me just get through. And yes, you can just stand up and tell us your question. And start by your name, please. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Felicitas. And Bishop has talked in reference to having leaders who do not know their mandate when it comes as per the Constitution. And it's very painful that we have leaders, and not just leaders, because in Kenya we have, let me say, a system in which not many people are aware of what our Constitution entails. Even among the Gen Zs here, not many of us, if I'm allowed to say that, are aware of what is in the Constitution, of what the roles of the various arms of the government should do and what they shouldn't do, the power they hold and how they can go about various situations if they arise. And the case for the millennials and our parents is even worse, pardon me for saying this, because civic education is not something that is very common in Kenya. Why shouldn't we, the same way we learn CRE or Christian education or Islamic and other subjects? Because our education system it has been created in a way that we learn a lot of things that are not very helpful or very applicable in our life. Why not something as important as our Constitution and what is mandated in it, what is entailed in it? Why shouldn't it be put in our education system so that children, even from the age of maybe class 4, as they grow up, they grow knowing that a member of parliament is supposed to do this. The president has this power and he has these restrictions. The judiciary arm of the government has this power and it has these restrictions. I think that is the most practical way we can deal with the issue of leaders and people and citizens not knowing what should and what shouldn't. Yes, thank you.
Well, and I think that we can take those 4. And the 3 was about integrity and accountability, and now the second one is about civic education, sir.
My brother started by talking about culture. No culture just appears. Cultures are seeds that become forests. There was a day corruption was planted. And then out of ignorance, corruption grew. And now corruption is giving birth. So corruption gives birth to corrupt leaders. So we will need to, what my sister was talking about there, we will need to return back. I don't know if it's professional for me to pick these books. Okay, if you don't mind. There are 2 books here that are the, give me also the Bible. They are the guidelines. Now, it depends. I'm a believer. I'm born again by the blood, washed by the blood of our Lord Jesus Christ, and I'm not ashamed. If you are Muslim, just remove the Bible and put your Quran. If you are a Hindu, whatever Bible book or other you believe in, we are not in a religious argument. So these 2 books, if you see them, are very paramount and they are very important. And they go hand to hand. In fact, one says give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So what belongs to Caesar? Say it again. What belongs to Caesar? So you can be born again and this person will arrest you. I want us to be very clear. And then the second thing, give to God what belongs to. So from that statement, I derive these 2 words. These are the 2 books that we need, depending on your religion. Please, I repeat, let's not have an argument on religion. If you are a Muslim, just remove the Bible and put the Islamic, that's on you. These 2 books are very paramount to the transformation of a nation. And that's why you realize when the president is coming into power or people are being sworn in, they place their hand first on the Bible and as this constitution as their guide. Do you understand that? So they are very important book if you're going to deal with transformation. We will need to have civic education. And I'm appealing to the body of Christ, Church of Jesus, for God's sake. We are doing a very poor job at civic education. Sister, are you aware, one of the things we need to do, we need to make it mandatory for every school to teach the Constitution.
Sure.
I have a school, Zilomon Group of Schools. The principal is here and the deputy principal is here. I came to you and I told you we should teach what? The Constitution. It has its, what you call the class. You see that you have CRE, you have Constitution. The class should be called Constitution of Kenya, Constitution of Uganda. I've studied the Ugandan Constitution. I've studied the Tanzanian Constitution. This Constitution is very up to date. In fact, in my view, I think God really protected us, because the way the people that brought together this constitution of 2010, you know, part of them were lawyers, different types of people. I think Ekuru Okot was part of them, different kinds of people. I remember Patrick Lumumba talking about all these things. So there are several people I've seen that, you know, gave into this constitution as it is. Of course, there are religious people that were consulted. You know, there are different people from different divides of religion. Now, this constitution should be a constant, just the same way there is mathematics, English, constitution. And that's what we did in our school. Principal is here, she can confirm. A grade, is it grade or PP2? Playgroup. You ask a PP2 in Zilomon, what does Article 1? And I think we have that video. I don't know if media is able to see these videos. If they can see it, it will make a lot of sense. Because I remember it was in our life there. PP2 saying all sovereign power belongs to me.
Wow.
PP2, by the time that kid gets to class 5, by the time that kid gets to high school, by the time the kid gets to campus, he understands the role of power. But unfortunately, even the member of parliament is elected based on what he said, how famous he is. We saw a member of parliament, is it I see that gentleman, is it in Kisii or something? He's dishing out money. And it's not even 100. He's dishing out money. We should come up with a culture in Kenya. Any leader that dishes out money, you are arrested. You must first of all tell us, where did you get that money? He says that he has his businesses. We have no problem. What are your businesses? What's the income of your businesses? How can you have 2,000 people lining and you give each 1,000 shillings? And you're a member of parliament. We have no problem with that. But if we create these cultures, we will make famous people leaders rather than leaders famous people. Can I repeat that statement? We will make famous people leaders rather than leaders famous people. The person that you're supposed to make famous should be a leader. But a famous person should not be a leader. But a leader should be made to be famous. These two books are very paramount. And on the issue of integrity, we'll need to have a culture difference. We need to readjust our culture. And I'm requesting young people, you are the hope. We are the hope to change this culture. If this seed continues beyond us, we are dead. If a 25-year-old can be given money to kill another during rallies, we are dead. If it will not change in our days, when will it change? So, little girl, or rather my young sister, these two books should be in the church. These two books should be in parliament. These two books should be in government. These two books should be in schools. And I said church. Why? Pastor, when those people leave church on Sunday, they are paying tax on Monday. They are affected by SHA. They are affected by bad governance. They are affected by issues to do with corruption. These are the same things that affect the people. And when the church made this a demonic book, and only took this book, the church made this book a demonic book. And it is very important, we need to understand this belongs to Caesar and we give it to Caesar, and this belongs to God and we give it to God. If we are able to change the culture by making sure we are not part of the mess, we are not paid. Right now, if you just want people, go to campus. If you go to campus and give them 200, they will go out and strike. But then it now reduces even your degree. And then you see them in the evening removing those clothes and setting them on fire. It is young people that create these narratives. You've said about how do we protect. My brother here spoke about, I think I've answered the 2 or 3. My brother here spoke about the young and rising leaders, right? How do we protect them? Right? Number one, you protect them by making sure, first of all, I know people that are paid here to tarnish my name. Just because I came out with a different approach of things. So you pay someone, a whole socialite person, you pay them 5,000. They post something so silly. Like I saw one of them in Nairobi. We're in Nairobi on the Bunge la Wananchi. The president of Bunge la Wananchi told me that they are coming up with, is it a society or something, CMO, but it is not yet fully registered. So any help I want to give them, I should wait for the CMO to be what? Is it a CMO to be registered? We had an agreement with him. Before I knew, I was, I think in Kisumu. In Kisumu. Young people had come together from Bunge la Wananchi and they were trying to discredit me. Oh, John C.W., you did not do what you told us. So I had to come out and say, excuse me, President of Bunge la Wananchi Nairobi. Are you not the one that told me to wait? So you see the way young people just come out, and unfortunately today, information travels faster than salvation. It was back in those days, salvation traveled faster, which is the word rescue. Today, if you just take your phone and you say, John CW is pregnant, even if I'm not a woman, people will first believe that I'm pregnant before they believe that I'm not a woman. We'll deal with the issue of not being a woman later. But we'll first deal with an issue of, yes, John CW, what is he giving birth to? So it's very important that we understand that we need to protect our people. Number one, by making sure the leaders that are coming, we don't demonize their mode of leadership. Number two, any one of them that is apprehended for all good reasons, young people should be able to go and find out which police station, what's the OB number, what is the count, what's the charge. But today, someone is just hijacked, arrested. I met Billy Mwangi. You all know Billy Mwangi? You know Billy Mwangi in Embu?
Yeah.
He was hijacked in 2024 together with another gentleman. He told me how he was stripped naked. Was it for 19 days or 17 days? Naked on the floor. No mattress, no nothing. He was taken to a place he cannot know where it is, and you can imagine the government has torture chambers in our today world. At least at Moi, it used to be Nyayo House, right? Where they tortured people like Matiba. If you read your history, these people are literally tortured. The man told me that he was taken to a place, tortured for those days. 1 meal a day, purely naked. You are going to the toilet there. Just imagine there is a place in this place. In our era, there is a place where the government has for torturing people. It doesn't make sense at all. So we are the ones to protect our people by making sure that they are, first their names are not tarnished. Then support what they are doing, provided it is good. Paul said, whatever is good, whatever is noble, think about such things. My case rests there.
Thank you. Now, we are going to go for a short break. I hear you, the issue of pressure. And actually, maybe even if it's not today, you're going to address it. Where we have even citizens giving pressure to their leaders. Maybe you promise this, do this, and because I want them to vote me again, I'm going to steal money and come do what they need. And also going back actually even to job opportunities. If you have your uncle, if you have a person from your village and they have a company, there's that pressure from the village that you must give our children positions. So they will end up advertising for those positions, but they know the people that are going to take the vacancies. So we are going to address the issue of pressure, even if it's another sitting. But we are going to transition now to something that we said when we were starting about the initiative that we have, the system. We're going to be practical to show you how it works, and you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions. So we are going to take a short break. After this, it's demonstration of the system.
Welcome to Zilamon Group of Schools, where every child is inspired to dream, challenged to grow, and equipped to succeed. Nestled in the heart of Keno, Muranga, Zilamon Group of School is more than just a learning institution. It is a home of excellent character and purpose, from daycare and creche to PP1 and PP2, grade 1 to grade 6 and junior secondary. We provide a complete and nurturing academic journey tailored to the need of today's young learners. At Zilamon, we believe every child carries unique potential, and that is why our classrooms are designed to encourage curiosity, creativity, and critical thinking. Our teachers are passionate, highly trained, and dedicated to creating a warm, supportive environment where learners feel confident and valued. We combine strong academic with hands-on learning, digital skills, arts, sports, and spiritual development, helping children to become well-rounded, responsible, and future-ready. We don't just teach, we mentor, guide, and inspire. Our facilities are safe, spacious, and child-friendly, with playground, modern learning materials, and a culture that promotes discipline, respect, and teamwork. Parents trust us because we partner with them, ensuring every learner receives personalized attention, holistic support, and measurable progress. At Zilamon, education is not just about passing exams, it's about preparing children to excel in life, live with confidence, and make a positive impact in the world. Enroll your child today and join a community where excellence is celebrated, talents are nurtured, and dreams are made possible. Zilamon Group of Schools, educating hearts, inspiring minds, and shaping tomorrow's leader today. Admissions ongoing. Visit us in Keno, Murang'a. For more information, call us on +254 117 111 999 or visit us www.zilamon.ac.ke. Zilamon Group of Schools, for God, for generations.
Welcome back. This is the Church and the State. My name is Aunt Joseph. And together with us is a generation. Actually, I call them an army. People who are here to give their grievances and also to just give an idea of the future they want. But again, we also have something so important of how we can change the electoral system so that we ensure that it is free and fair. And with us, actually, the governance expert, Ambassador, there's this system that you have been talking about, blockchain actually, where people can vote at the comfort of their seat. You know, they can see whatever is happening as they vote. Maybe I'll give you an opportunity to talk about it as you welcome the expert to demonstrate.
Last year in 2025, we started speaking on the need of transitioning the way Kenya and Africa does its election. And we all know that that same year, John Buddy, who is the minister within that rank, came up with a budget of approximately 61.7 billion. Over and above what is needed for security, which is another several billions and such kind of things. And so I took it upon myself to see how we can be able to reduce that budget and rather have referral hospitals in different counties. Mm-hmm. I actually looked at the amount of money it takes to build a full Kenyatta hospital. And I knew that if we will be able to do such a thing, instead of now someone traveling from Machakos, you would rather use that money to do something more constructive and build a Kenyatta National Hospital in Machakos. It's one of the things in my own preference as a leader I would think about doing. That you have 47 Kenyatta National Hospitals, you would decongest the hospital currently here. So we set out on a mission to see how technology, and of course, I think I have the Constitution here. We read it the other time, Article 86. From 81, 83, and Article 86. Article 86 gives a much more broader point of view, even though it has, it says at every election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission shall ensure, whatever voting method is used, underline the word is whatever voting method. So the voting method is more than one and it is constitutional. This is what it should be able to adhere to. Number one, whatever voting method is used, the system is simple. So the first thing about that voting method is simple. 2, accurate. 3, verifiable. 4, secure. Accountable. 5, and transparent. 6. Those are the 6 things that whatever method we are going to choose to use it should be able to embrace. B, it says that the votes cast are counted, tabulated, and results announced promptly by the presiding officer at the polling station. In any assumption that that method would require a returning officer, then that would be a possibility. C, the results from the polling stations are openly and accurately collected and promptly announced by the returning officer. And D, appropriate structures and mechanisms in eliminating electoral malpractice are put in place according to the safekeeping of election materials. So when we looked at this constitution, we went ahead to establish a method that is constitutional, that, adheres to those 6 rules that I've said: accurate, simple, transparent, all those things within that platform. And so we looked at where the future is looking, how the future is looking and where the future is taking us to. And we settled for a system called blockchain. Before you say, how can old people know, remember, or rather you say, which other nation has done it? Mpesa is the biggest global money mobile transfer globally. Mpesa. So who did we copy for Mpesa to be that way? Africa needs to come out of this mentality of copy and paste. Who does it so that we can do it? Who did Mpesa in the whole world in order for us to do Mpesa? So sometimes there might be no one before Moses that had the guts to part the Red Sea. Sometimes you become a pioneer of something for others to follow. You don't necessarily need to follow something that has been done. Having said that, we set out on a mission to use blockchain as a system to be able to, number one, save lives. Underline the first thing about our idea is what? Young people, is what? Save lives. We all know what happened in 2007. And all transition governments have one way or another taken lives of people. I wonder why I need to die to elect a leader. Why do I need to die? Why do I need to lose a house to elect a leader? So number one, we set out on a mission to make sure that, we create safety, human life safety. 2, reduce the amount of money that is used to secure. 3, accuracy. 4, transparency. Those are the kind of things that we looked at. And when we looked at it, we tried to remove human effort as much as possible and bring it to a point where technology will be able to do this kind of thing. So we settled for blockchain. And so we have here a gentleman called Jesse. He's one of the people where, if you remember, we had a group of people where we were building, a blockchain system that, number one, is not possible to hack it, purely built on blockchain, open source system, which means that no one person owns it. All of us are able to see when we cast a vote. And today, we came to show the practicality of it. Are we not several people here? So we came to show the practicality of it. So we called it in reference to the Chunga Kadi initiative. So we now said, now after 28 days are done or 30 days are done, which are ending this month, but I hope you know it's not constitutional. According to the constitution, it's supposed to be, is it 6 months to the election period? You are supposed to be able to go and vote. I don't know why the IEBC, chose 30 days and such kind of things. We have 14 months or 13 months to go. So we are also going to go to court. And I'll be on the front line to make sure that we challenge that, that verdict for it to be changed, that it should not be 30 days. We should be able to take it to the 6-month period that is needed. And as far as the 6 months is concerned, we have another 7 months to go. So if you imagine, we are recording a record breaker of, we are looking at 15 million. So in 6 months, 7 months to come, we might be looking at 30 million rather than importing other people from other points. And this is what our leaders are afraid of. Young people, are you going to get your vote? Yes. Are you a Christian? Yes. But are you going to register as a voter? Yes. Or are you going to pray only for good leadership? You are going to pray and play. Can we repeat it? Say, I'm going to pray, and I'm also going to play my part.
I'm also going to play my part.
So that's why we came up here, to make sure that we show you today. My friend Jesse is going to be taking over. I might be joining him on the other side if you allow me on your program. Please, yeah. But today we are going to do practically and show Mbadi the Right Honorable Mbadi why you don't need 61.7 billion in order for us to have a clean, fair, and accurate election. Over to you, Jesse.
All right, thank you, sir. So we've been having this conversation for the longest time, and I believe we get to a point where we have to finish the talk and now do the take action. And so today we are here, we're going to do just a little bit of a walkthrough of the system. And part of the people who are here with us in the live audience have already had access to the platform, which is available online, but we have not yet made it publicly available because we're in the process of testing it for, we call it stress testing, to be able to check its capabilities and to make sure that it delivers as promised. So I'm going to request media to project it, just the interface of it. So first I'd like to comment on what you can see on your screen is an actual demonstration of the fact that it meets the 6 points of the constitutional criteria listed out, as has just been read by His Excellency, the Ambassador, Bishop John C.W. So simplicity. So what you're looking at looks like a website. It's very simple to access, and it is public for all. However, how you now go into it, that's what we're going to look at in a minute, but you can maybe just scroll through it to just show the simplicity. And you can see there we have voting live. Voting is live right now as we're speaking. We had set the live election to happen as the people are voting live, part of the audience. Maybe you can navigate to results and you can check the current results of the system as voting continues. So these are some of the deliverables of this system. Assuming we were having the general election right now, it doesn't need you to take forever to be able to know who is currently leading. It doesn't need to be controversial. It is very transparent. It is very auditable. And that's part of the criteria that we have read in the Constitution. And just to make it clear, this has, to build this, we've barely touched $1 billion. So the work is not to build, the work is actually now to bring it to the hands of the people through civic education and everything. But you can see there, if you want to see the leading candidate there, you can see, just scroll up a bit. It's very straightforward. So you can see the 6-piece ballot there. There's the president, there's the governor. Rudi juu kidogo, just scroll up a bit. So we have the governor, the senator, the women rep, parliament, county assembly. So we just set it. You see, the people who are voting, the president is the only candidate that is visible to every voter, regardless of their location, because he is the leader of the country, okay? But the governor, you only see the governor of the county in which you have registered to vote in. So every other position, the only thing you can see about another candidate is the result. So if you're interested, for instance, can we go to click on governor? So when you click governor, if you're in Mombasa, you will see who is the leading governor there. But if you're not in Mombasa, you can't vote for a candidate in Mombasa. So maybe go to Murang'a, hapo hivyo kwa select county. Let's go to check Meru. So this is the experience that, so we had not populated candidates all over. We are still, the system, again, we are stress testing it. So we have not sampled every location. But if there was a candidate there and you wanted to see results in that county, you could, okay? So it doesn't, through this system, you will be able to check if what's being reported on the screen on that day is actually what's happening. So that's just the results. And I'm sure by now, voting has closed. So you can see, go back home, go back home. So voting is live. It should now read close in very few minutes once you refresh. So the polls have closed. Actually, it should close at midnight. So it should close at midnight. So anyway, you can see the transparency and the simplicity of the system. So let's go to sign in to vote. So once you access the system, you're going to meet this interface. This is a form. Scroll up a bit. Scroll up. No, up. Go up. So sign in to vote. So this sign in to vote is only for the person who has already confirmed their voting status. So the first place you go to, navigate down to the orange button. The first place you go to is confirm voting status online. So click on that. And it has a very simple 3-step procedure for you to confirm your voting eligibility. So you will fill in your name. So for the sake of this demonstration, whoever is operating this is going to fill out these steps. So let them, you can fill out the name, just a random name. Because this is a demonstration, we do not necessarily need to use actual real data. So we just want to see that this is working. So when you access the system, what you're seeing on your screen is where you start. So you need to first confirm your registration status. That is, so the platform inaitwa, it's called Chunga Kadi. So it means before uchunge kadi, you have kukua kadi. So you have to be a registered voter. So now, you have, okay, now put a pin, set any pin. Something simple, something you can remember. So after your name, you do your ID number, you put in a simple pin that only you knows, nobody else knows that pin. And then you confirm it. Once they match, you continue to select the voting area. So click on continue to voting area. Yeah, click on it. Refresh it. Okay, try again. Go back to confirm voting status online. Spell that name well. Nancy Achieng. It's supposed to have a C. Right. Put in the pin again. All right, now select, now you're going to, this is where you now put in information of where you are voting from. So you select your home county, so just select any county, whichever county. Baringo, select constituency, Baringo Central, then you select the ward. So all these details are in the system, so you just have to check and find where you come from. So now continue to documents. Now this is the most important part. So here you will have to upload a photo of your ID or your voter's card. So here we want to prove, like, the goal here is to actually authenticate that the information you have provided is true. So first you upload your ID, and then on the second level, that's now the live selfie, your face. That is so that you can sieve people from, mtu anaweza kuwa they have a stack of IDs, right? But in as much as they have those IDs and the people who own those IDs are not there, they can't fake the selfie. You get? So this is very simple. Again, the current version of this system is very simple. We will advance this to more robust security systems. But even as it is quite unique in this way. So for the sake of demonstration, we'll have the person, Susan, just click to upload whatever document you'll find on your machine. So we will assume that whatever she selects is the ID. This is a demonstration. This is demonstration purposes. If you do this officially, you will be rejected. The system will reject you. But for the sake of demonstration, we are going to just pick a sample that should represent an ID card. But now for the selfie, we will have to, whoever is doing this will have to take a selfie. Don't change photo, go to the selfie now. So the selfie is what is called a liveness test. So it is proof that, allow it while visiting the site. Just use Pastor G, it's okay. Pastor G, smile. Siogope. Okay, click on allow while visiting the site. Allow while visiting the site so that you can allow it to use your camera. All right, so Pastor G, do us the honors. Right, so that's in order. So once that is done, I want you to notice something. Before you go down. So don't click yet, don't click. So your photos are uploaded securely to IPFS. So IPFS is a very secure security system on blockchain. So I will go technical a little, but just for the purposes of demonstrating how solid this is. Normal internet uses HTTPS protocol. You notice when you're putting in a website, inaanzanga na HTTPS, then you put in the URL of the website you want to go to. So IPFS is similar to HTTPS, but IPFS is decentralized. It means how IPFS stores information is it breaks it down and distributes it to different servers. So that when you want to retrieve information, you don't necessarily have to retrieve this photo from a centralized server somewhere. So IPFS, what it does, it will distribute this one document in many servers. But when you need it, it will retrieve it from the nearest server, not one server somewhere. It is any close server that is near. So that's an advantage, and that's how blockchain ensures security. So now submit a registration request. So it is recording this information on the blockchain network, and now that request has been submitted. So what happens is on the admin side, you will find that request will now appear on the dashboard of who is responsible on IBC's side, assuming they're the ones running this platform. So the system is going to use something called OCRD. It is a smart way of confirming details between two documents to see if they match. So you've put in your selfie, and if that face is not similar to the face on the ID, then that request is automatically rejected. You get? Now, as for security in terms of hacking, it's mathematically impossible to hack a system on blockchain. It is difficult to hack it because how blockchain works, it uses something called some system like blockchain, Bitcoin, for instance. Okay, let me name a few blockchain networks. Bitcoin is one of them. We have Ethereum. We have Solana. We have Binance chain. It has its own chain called BNB chain. There are very many chains. You get? So there are very many networks. This one, particularly, we've built it on a blockchain network called Lisk. Lisk is quite solid in terms of its capabilities. And how it works, now I'm trying to explain how it ensures security. Bitcoin requires what is called mining power. Like, for you to earn a Bitcoin, you either buy one or you mine one. Now that power to mine uses something called computation power. It requires, like, for you to generate 51% of everybody who runs a Bitcoin node for you to hack anything on Bitcoin, okay? I don't want to go deep. I want to remain simple, but make this as clear as possible. Now, this one uses something called proof of stake. So security in this system is based on how much money everybody in the system has. So there's no way you can have more money that people have staked in this system for you to defeat them, like to have 51% more than them. You get? So that's how it ensures its own security. So that request is now what some people hear. Maybe I would ask one of the facilitators to give the mic to one person whose account has been approved, and they can maybe even show us what their phone is showing, the display on their phone. So somebody who submitted their request this evening and your account has already been approved. Just anybody. Come on, there are people here. She is one of them. Maybe you can give it to her. If possible, she can show us her account.
You can come to the camera.
Yeah, you can show your account maybe for the viewers to be able to see your account. Yes.
Should she come close?
She just can come closer to the camera.
So this is a person who did that whole process, and she submitted her ID and her selfie, and her account was approved, and we want to look at the interface of a person whose account has already been approved.
So I'm just logging in to, like, the details were already saved on my phone. Just a minute. So it's saying that the voting is not open yet, but I was able to vote for the president. I was able to vote for each and every candidate that was there. And I believe it's saying that it's not opened yet because the polls were closed.
Yes, the polls closed 10 minutes ago, approximately.
Yeah. The system is very efficient. It is very, very, very simple. I was seated there, and as I was doing it, I was just thinking, this is how you don't waste time on the line for the whole day, because I took less than 5 minutes to do the whole process. And it was very, very efficient and very simple for, I believe, even a grandmother can do it, right? Yeah, it is very simple. Me, I would advocate for it 100%. Yeah, it's very, very.
Also, when you are voting, I'm sure once you finished voting for one candidate, there is no way to go back on the same to vote again, because once you've voted, you are done. The system recognizes that you see, and then as you're voting, it was writing for you there that your vote is being recorded on the blockchain. So that's how, again, that transaction is being written on the blockchain network, and it is there permanently. Maybe if we can go back to the display there, go back to the projection.
Maybe, do we have other people that also did
Yes,
it?
yes.
Who, if you did it, can you lift your hand? If you have people that did it.
Hanifa did it.
Let's be a bit quick. Let's be a bit quick. Is yours open? All of them have closed.
All of them have closed.
Okay.
Once voting closes, no one else can vote.
All right, so the lady who was explaining, it's open now.
Yes.
It's really opening. This is what he's showing there. Okay. Maybe you can just explain.
I don't think this voting is closed. I don't think she can be able to vote now.
Okay.
But there are people that tested it.
Yes.
Several
Yes.
of you. Can you lift your
Because
hand if
even
you
if-
did? Lift your hand. Okay. So
Yeah.
what's your, maybe Bokonyo would tell us, another person, what's your uninfluenced point of view concerning it? The people that did, as you give it back to Jesse. What was your thought as you did it? And meanwhile, you don't need to make us happy. You just be as open as possible so that we can be as, as organic with our information.
Hi, so my name is Gladys Mutai. I tested the system. I found it very efficient, especially in curbing errors that usually happen when somebody votes on a physical piece of paper. So there are no mistakes in terms of ticking. And before you choose your ideal candidate, it allows you to confirm, is this the candidate that you want to pick? And if you select that candidate, then the vote is automatically registered. And it goes along to every segment in steps. So you're done with the president, then you go to the governor, then the senator, then the women rep, the MP, then the MCA. And I appreciated that fact of it, that it is, you are less likely to make errors.
Another compliment from Hanifa.
Greetings, everyone. So, as a first timer, when it comes to voting, I think I would really love to use this platform because it hasn't given me a hard time. I was looking at almost everything. As a first timer, I was worried what if I select something wrong and I tap by mistake, because I was assuming, let's say it's on that day of voting, maybe I'm caught up with other things and I'm at home, or maybe I'm at my office, and by mistake I accidentally tap a wrong name. And because I was reading the rules, and it's something like after you've tapped it, you can't go back again to so I was worried about the same. But as my sister has mentioned, before allowing it to go further, it asks you again, are you sure? High end it doesn't just just flow. It's there to help you confirm, is this what you really want? And it's like a conversation with, it's like I'm a baby, and it's there to guide me, literally like a baby. So I think it's so easy to work with, and I believe it will really serve most of us who are always busy, who have babies at home, and you can't go there. And honestly, forgive me for saying this, but I think the Githeri man has nothing to worry about right now, because he'll do this while at home, and so I really thank all of you for bringing up such a system, because it's dope. Yeah.
Back to you, Jesse.
Thank you. So she said it's dope. Yeah. So
There are questions online.
yeah.
There's a person asking about Shosho, now grandma. How are they able to vote? And also there's another question on what if this is creme? What about in places where there's no network, or people who don't have bundles on Wi-Fi, and people who don't have smartphones? How will it be applicable to them?
Okay.
Maybe before he answers this, and there's also another question, I think the last one, and it's asked here, what if you use different gadgets to vote multiple times or different lines?
Let me first answer, let him answer the technical part of it. The Shosho one I want to answer.
Okay.
Then this one about network, Wi-Fi and stuff like that, the technical part of it. There's a reason why I would like to answer the Shosho. Shosho means grandmother. What about how efficient is the system towards them? Now, let me explain something about change. Jesus says the poor you will always have. So if you are dealing with poverty, the goal, in as much as, he came, let the poor say, I'm rich. These are the same words with Jesus. There will always be poor people. Why did I say that? It's not from the angle of it's not possible, but there are people that just refuse to embrace change. In this case of Shosho, I would like to say this. Meanwhile, we all have them in our homes. So if you want to deal with change, you focus on majority. Young people, are you listening? There is a technique to use when you want to deal with change. You first focus, isolate majority and minority. Let me ask you a question. As opposed to people that can't, 74% of Kenya, is it old people or young people? So this system, is it possible for it to be used by 74% of Kenya? And who are the majority? And what's the percentage? So already we have cut off 74% of the problem, because you have already isolated what you want to deal with. So 74% of the problem of voting has been dealt with, because young people here, and I like the way she said she's a first-time voter. So it means I wanted to find out, because me, it's not my first time, nor my second time. I wanted to find out, as a first-time experience, and that's why I've told them, be as organic as possible. Don't say it because you're a Christian. This is not a Christian platform. This is a Kenyan platform. And in Kenya, there are heathens, there are Christians, there are people. You know, they're just all types of people. That's what I'm trying to say. So we are not bringing a Christian platform. We are bringing a national platform that will embrace anyone as far as you're a Kenyan. So we have already, first of all, dealt with 74% of Kenya. So will it be easier to deal with 26%? Huh? So now that 26% is what we now need to make you understand. This system is not removing the polling stations, is it? It's not removing the polling stations. We are now telling you 74% of Kenya does not need to queue. So imagine how easy it will be for the polling stations to do their job. Imagine how easy it will be for grandma. Imagine how easy it will be for granddad. Imagine how Form 34As, how you have already dealt with 74% of corruption. So it is easier for us to pursue Form 34As, Form 34Bs from that point of view. Because now you have less people dealing with that issue. Why? Because this system is able to guarantee that specific things are not necessarily needed in that view. Have you understood what I'm saying? So now by the time you come to grandma, now there are grandmas, I know. Like you remember I told you the grandfather, the ChatGPT, the one that was told you need to take this medicine, and he ended up chatting with ChatGPT. So we also have within what is remaining a certain percentage of mamambogas that are able to use. You remember this current president said that he's going to put Wi-Fi on markets, even though it never came. But at least you can imagine there are people in the markets. You take a walk in the market. I was in Meru market. You see elderly people using their phones. Yeah. So don't assume that because you are old, you are illiterate. So we have already, first of all, dealt with 74% of our problem, which is caused by young people. Young people, is there anyone here that doesn't know how to use a phone? Eh? If you are here and you are 16 years, lift your hand. 15, 16, you are 20 years and below. 20 years and below. Do you know how to use your phone? Do you know how to go on WhatsApp? Do you know how to go on Google? Do you know how to Google? Do you? So is that thing a big issue? No. But again, remember, that person that is 15, he will not be needed because next year, he will be 16. Then that person that's 16, they will be 17. But that person that is 18, this system is very easy for you to use. I've decided to answer this because it's very important that we understand. You can't say, oh, how will show? Show will be dealt with at the polling station in any event. Two, there's someone that is saying, can you take another, I think that one I have the knowledge of answering. Can you take another phone? And remember, he told you, you already have your ID. Even if you are taking another phone, you don't have another ID. Unless when in Kora, and you should be arrested. In case you have multiple IDs, you need to tell us where you get them from. But because we know very well that the government portal will only accept your ID, even if you take another phone, I'm assuming Jesse, and you key in your voter points, it should be able to lock you out because that person has already voted. So there is no way you're going to have a person voting twice, because that John, that's why you notice that it said Nancy Achieng. Nancy Achieng put out their credentials. Then now that credentials have already been, he told you very well, have already been keyed into the system. So if you're going to try and key into the system again, it's not possible for Nancy Achieng because Nancy Achieng has already voted. So the only thing Nancy Echeng can do is to wait for their vote. Can you use the same phone to have multiple people? Yes, you can, if I'm not wrong. Because your ID, your credentials are not the same with mine. The issue is not the phone. The issue is the person. So even if a family member, you go to your grandma, you say that normally during voting we are all the time together. You go to your shosho and your mom and people and you tell them, here is the phone. Let me show you how to do it. You can use one phone to have different people registering using it. But that does not mean that person, there are different accounts to do it. So those people will be isolated when it comes to the system keying in different people based on their national identities. Lastly, remember, there is a facial recognition there. So it adds up to the safety of the system. Do you understand? So there is no way you are going to pretend to be your shosho until you key in 87 years. And then the person that's coming there is 24. The system knows. The system is not foolish. It can see that this is not a shosho. Do you get what I'm saying? So the polling stations have not been removed. I'm just assuming that 74% of the problems of voting have already been dealt with. It makes the polling stations easy to access. It makes the Form 34As and Form 34Bs, the returning officers, even the people that are going to look for positions. Imagine how much money you will use less. Because you have few agents you need. Because the problems have already, 74% of your agents have already been dealt with by the system. Have you understood? Maybe if I've left out something, Jesse can fit in to address it as we finish.
Let's have this question again. There was a question you asked.
The Wi-Fi
Yes,
or
so
no internet connection.
as I've said, the current version of the system, it's still under development. So apart from this platform as it is, we are working on the USSD version of it. You see how you can check your airtime balance, *144#. That does not require internet to happen. So the same way, we are working on a unique code to access this same system. And the same way you do Mpesa, like you fill in the recipient's number, you fill in the amount, then you enter your PIN and then you send, is the same way, using that USSD code, you will come in, you will put in your full name, your ID number, you enter your voting PIN, and then you can access a ballot, depending on your location. Okay? So there is no reason to assume that poor internet connectivity is a limitation to this technology. It is not limited. So I hope I've answered that. Collins, there was a question you had asked.
Yes, I think Ambassador has already answered that.
All right, I think that's it.
Yeah, over to you, Tucker. Okay, Korea.
Thank you so much, Anne. I think there is a question that has not been answered, including by the IEBC. Analytically, in the year 2022 general election, 22.1 million was the turnout of the registered voters. And the turnout at the ballot was around approximately 14.3 million. So where is the 7.8 million? They are not asking. As much as we are mobilizing people to go and register as voters, where is the 7.8 million that did not turn out to vote? And how can blockchain cover this? Because the turnout was around 64 to 65%. Where is the 35%? Yes, thank you.
So, according to the statistics that we have been running, if this system is adopted, it improves voter turnout to approximately 87%, nearly 87%. And if we are to look at it even from a diaspora point of view, diaspora, Kenya has approximately 4 million Kenyans out there abroad. In 2022, out of a population of 4 million Kenyans in diaspora, only 10,000 voted. So what happened to 3,990,000? Like that big number, 900,000. Over 3 million people in diaspora didn't vote. So what happened? Why didn't they vote? You see, for instance, in America, the polling station that is set up there is in Washington, D.C. And so assuming someone is on the farthest side on the west coast and Washington is in the east coast. So it takes approximately almost 4 hours to travel from the farthest western side to the eastern side to go and vote. It's like going from South Africa coming here to Kenya. So if such a platform is adopted, it means that hassle is eliminated and more people have more access of making their democratic right validly exercised. So that's a good question you're asking, and this system guarantees high voter turnout, regardless of age, location, or even disability. So yeah.
I also have a question from this end by Hanifa. 7.8 million is not a joke. It took 7 point something for somebody to win for a presidential position. So it's a crisis. If we can even get IBC officials on another show for us to ask them this direct question, because it's a crisis. Why aren't you adapting such a system if it can cover such a crisis? Yeah, Hanifa.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So I had 2 questions. Is the platform available in other languages, or rather, can it be made available in multiple languages? I'm asking this because I am so sure that other nations will be interested with this system. So I was wondering, like, can it be available to, and also, personally for you experts, what is that biggest risk that you anticipate with the system, and how are you preparing for it? Like, personally for me, in as much as I'm not the expert, I was a little bit worried with some risks. But now for you, if you don't mind answering, have you guys ever had this feeling of what ifs? And if yes, how have you been preparing for such a, thank you.
Okay. So I'll answer the second question about the risk. The reason we're even doing this exercise of stress testing is in anticipation of the difficulty that can be there, because the easiest thing to do is to build something, but the test is to prove that it serves the purpose for which it was created. Even when God created all things, and you see, creating was not the hard part for him. At the end of the day, he was checking whether it was good and whether it was performing according to how he had intended for it to perform. So our biggest concern is, of course, is it going to hold up everything that we say that it can do? So that's why we are opening it up for people to come in and experience it, so that even us, from the difficulties you people experience, we're able to come back and refine it and make it better. At the end of the day, this becomes a product not built by a few people, but it is the work of all Kenyans. Through the feedback you give us, we implement, we make it better and better. And who knows, at the end of the day, it becomes something, even inside the platform. If you go to the About section, please go there just quickly. It's written that it's built for every Kenyan. Again, at the end of the day, it will be built by every Kenyan through your feedback, through your participation, and through your willingness to be able to give us, your honest feedback about how you feel about it. Do you feel like it makes things easier? Are we going forward or are we going backward with it? So that's one of the concerns, I will say, we are trying to address through such an exercise. Yeah.
Okay, a question.
Before we go to that question, that thing she spoke about other nations, it is a yes. When we started speaking about this, we have interest in Uganda, not like Ugandans interested. I'm not speaking by faith, like it's happening. We have Tanzanians interested in this system. What shocked me is Nigeria and South Africa. So all these people are saying, if this thing works for Kenya, other nations have no reason not to adopt them. Why? Every good leader would want to save money that is meant to, it's very expensive. Do you know the Kenyan election is more expensive? Is it than America?
Yes.
It's way more expensive. Very expensive election. It doesn't need to be this expensive to, you know, or let me not even say America. It's more expensive than most of these first world countries. So it shouldn't be, we shouldn't pay to be led. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know why we should pay someone to lead us. So it should be very cheap, and that's why this opportunity is offering that platform. So we have nations that are like, if this thing goes well for Kenya, it will mean well. And you know, there is even that question I've seen, what you are saying, that, well, once we finish, we dealt with Mbadi, not Mbadi, we dealt with the Rastas, head of IBC chair, we met all the commissioners, we presented the system then, earlier on. And I remember after that, the chair said that he has no problem, but we need to get a date with Parliament in order for, you know, it has to go through the whole approval process of Parliament and stuff. But we are saying this to Parliament. If your member of Parliament would say no to this, you need to know that member of Parliament. Say no too. Then ask your member of Parliament, what is the reason why you would say no to a system that can deal with 74% of our problem? We are not saying it's going to deal with 100% of Kenyan problem. No. We are just saying we can deal with the immediate problem, which is the biggest problem, which happens to be young people are the reason why we need to bring people to vote. And if you've seen, the people coming out to vote, if you check, they are under 30. Not to vote, to register as new voters. Most of these people are very young people. And what we are saying is that here is a system that can be able to deal with the biggest percentage of the problem as we now culminate it towards the 26% remaining. How do we now go back to the polling stations and deal with ABCD? You understand? So this is not a Kenyan thing we are pushing, but we are using Kenya as a springboard to show Africa that it's cheaper, you can save more lives, you can save time. As he said, you can have more voters coming out because of that, what I call voter laziness. Of course, you'll be lazy if you're thinking about traveling from South Africa. Would you travel from South Africa to Kenya to vote? Would you travel? So in any assumption, America is as big as Africa or close to, no one is leaving Washington, D.C. to go to, leaving Texas to go to Washington to vote. So you can imagine 10,000 people came out to vote. Why? Because it's not readily available. Some people are working, but someone is going to think and say, I'm voting on my phone. I'm sure you get votes of over 2 million. Why? Because now there is easy accessibility, and that's the work of IBC. And we are appealing to the IBC to make sure that we have easy accessibility to voter turnout, or rather voter registration, easy accessibility to voting itself, because that's the mandate given to the IBC, and they should do their job. In fact, the work of IBC is to woo us to register. It should not be our work to look for IBC. And I'm appealing also to the church. I may not get an opportunity. We should have IBC in churches. After church services, let people register. People should not be going to queue to IBC. Yet they have a budget of 61.7. Do you know what is a billion, young people? If you put 1,000 shillings up, stacking up on one another, do you know how high 1 billion looks like? Go study it. If you take 1,000 Kenyan notes and place it one ahead of another, do you know how many kilometers you go for? That's 1 billion. So when you hear 11 billion is stolen and 5 people are benefiting, it needs to enter your mind. IBC has the budget to go around this nation. In fact, to do door to door. I should not be paying transport to go and register. Do you understand? We should go every 100 meters, IBC, because they have the budget to do it. But unfortunately, this money will end on someone's pocket. Lastly, security of the voter. Notice the system is called what? Chunga Kadi. This system's main goal, apart from eliminating some unnecessary funds, this main goal of this system is to protect your vote. So that you can literally, if this person comes to power, it's because he was voted into power. But I am not necessarily guaranteed by the old way. Now look, the old way, we have tried it. How much has it worked? Every time there's bloodshed. Is it true? But here we have a new way with new advantages. And this new way is saying, we'd rather risk with a new way than keep on manifesting an old way that has not built the right results. And I'm assuming, or rather I'm led to say this, I don't think in Africa we have ever gotten the leaders we want. I think in Africa, through these corrupt systems, we have always gotten the leaders we are given. It is high time through such systems to get the leaders we want over the leaders we are given. This is my point of view.
Oh, thank you. Now, a question. If, by event, the system is absorbed by the IEBC, will we need to do another voters registration, or you're going to sync the report or the registration with the portal? Because I think the reason I'm asking, somebody called today, they were testing the system, and when they were verifying, they were told that your vote is not registered, go to the next polling station. Is it yet integrated, or will we have to redo the registration of voters?
Once they approve and embrace or rather adopt this system, just as it is, we will only have to link the back end of this system to be able to query the database of IEBC, which means they already have the database of registered voters. So this, on this side of it, it just has to, like, they are called APIs, like it's how systems talk to each other. So this one will talk to the databases of IEBC to retrieve data. So in case you are accessing this and you are a registered voter, this system will simply check in the IEBC database whether you exist. If you don't exist, you now register fresh. If you exist, you now have access and you can interact with it. Does that make sense? So it's a matter of integrating this with a database that already has the registered voters.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Well, it has been an interesting conversation. I believe that you have learned 2 or 3 things. And by the way, we can talk and talk because there are a lot of things that we can look at. But I'm grateful, we are grateful that you had a chance to join us up to this time and also to interact with the governance experts and to ask any question. I would love to give thanks to you who availed yourself here. Please clap for yourself. You did so well. You did so well. You asked the right questions. And I would also want to thank the expert. Thank you for answering the questions in the right way. Can we clap for the expert? Yes, it was so interesting. And thank you so much, our developer, for the amazing work he's doing also to champion for change the right way. Can we clap for him? Yes, I would love you also to clap for the correspondents. See, they did a good work. Yes, clap for Kuria, clap for Collins. Yes, a special thanks also to our crew. Thank you so much, media team. You know, even for you to enjoy this conversation at the comfort of your seat, there are people who are tirelessly giving themselves for this. So appreciate them as well. Yes, all departments, sound, the people that prepared this place, even what is going to be taken after this, we are so grateful. And to you at home, thank you for staying. Thank you for sending your comments. Thank you for sending your questions. We are honored to have you. Now, I would love us to close it at this time. I don't know whether you have a final remark as we close or...
Dear Kenyans, Africans and the world at large, do not fear change. Change comes to change those who are ready to change. Every blessing.
Do not fear the change. This is of course, also the church is returning to the right position. This is the church and the state, and we are so happy to have you. Thank you. Until next time, my name is Aunt Joseph.
Acha hizo. Ni